Kumar, you can start.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be with us.
Yep. Good morning, all. I hope you can hear me clearly. So, in the morning, we established the importance of sustainability. The speakers before, they said about the story of a little boy asking about sustainability and all those things. Today, what I'm going to present is a tool that measures sustainability, because you need a tool to measure what's actually happening out there, because you can control only what you measure. And so for that relevance, I'm going to talk about sustainability. But before that, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Karthik Ashok Kumar. I work as Sustainability Officer at CEPE, which is the European Council for Paints, Printing Inks, and Artist Colors. So we represent around 800 companies in the coatings sector, inks and artist colors, and the coatings includes deco, industrial coatings, and protective as well. And we represent the European Association through 20 different national associations. And this is the total representation of the market. So please don't get intimidated by this picture here. This is just to show how we are impacted as coating sector, how many regulations are there. You can see CLP, the Green Deal, and the other interlinkages. And what I'm going to present you here today is about the product environmental footprint. It's just a little dot in the universe of all these regulations. And this is exactly the tool that helps you to measure the footprint of your product, and that's what I'm going to cover here. So before I go into explaining what's the tool and how it can benefit you, I would like to quote the sustainability charter that our association drafted back in 2012, which aims to establish the life cycle thinking to understand the impact so that our members can better communicate the relative contribution of their product, to identify hotspots to improve, and then also an opportunity to innovate. So, as I said, I'm going to talk about the PEF here, which is basically the product environmental footprint, which is nothing but a life cycle assessment, if you're familiar with that. It's only that it's extension, according to the European Commission, to bring a single market for green product communication. And so the Commission came up with the project, and they drafted some special rules, and that's what it's all about, the PEF. So there can be a variety of scenarios in the company. You can have an expert who can do LCA, who cannot do LCA. So these are the different options that our association has in terms of the measuring the life cycle and analysis. So we have the CEPE database, we have the eco footprint, and the PEF tool. And this is what I'm going to explain today, and this is linked to the European Commission's policy initiatives as well. So why PEF? Why the product environmental footprint? We know that the European market is loaded with a lot of labels. I saw that in a report that around 465 labels exist, and these labels are oftentimes confusing, not so clear in their communication to the consumers, and has some challenges. So the European Commission wanted to bring a unified system to avoid the green chaos and to have a common green language. And so when this project started back in 2012, around 2013, CEPE started the project under these four strategy points, which is first, yes, we as association, we want to avoid greenwashing so that there is a level playing field for the industry. I will explain what that level playing field is. And then the PEF is also more holistic because it includes the cradle-to-grave approach, so the complete cradle-to-grave, and is also fair in terms of eco-label because the EU eco-label is also very famous in Greece. It's just a pass or fail system, and it's very binary. It doesn't really give you an opportunity to improve the life cycle analysis or find the hotspots and so on. And of course, to promote high-performance products, because durability is something that is key in the PEF, because you also measure the quality of your product, and so that you have a high-performance product to have a long service life, which in turn translates into a better environmental footprint, and then also makes room for innovation, and then promote the use of life cycle assessment, because it's scientific and quantitative, not like eco-label, which is qualitative. I'm not criticizing EU eco-label here, but just to show you the advantage of the PEF over eco-label. And then finally, be a good steward for the industry, because it allows to reduce the our industry environmental footprint completely, and also is developed by the industry for the industry. So I'll go into a little bit into the topic. So basically, I mentioned before that the PEF is a cradle-to-grave approach, which means also the application and use phase of the product is taken into account for calculating the life cycle footprint. And this is the life cycle stages of our coatings product, and you can see the raw material manufacturing distribution. And I mentioned about the level playing field, because if you see this distribution, use, end of life, it's all the same. It's all modeled average for the industry, so any downstream users who uses the PEF has the same conditions. Only the changes are observed in the raw material manufacturing, because every company can have their own competitive methods to make a paint. So basically, it calculates the life cycle analysis of all these stages, and then it translates the PEF as a score, which is calculated using these 16 impact categories, which makes the PEF score. So if you're familiar with the life cycle analysis, you know what this is here, and this is what is translated to a PEF score. And if you ask me what paints are covered and which category of paints, then it's these 4 categories, which comes from the VOC directive. And here you can see, for now, the PEF is available for the decorative paints. And these are the 4 categories of paints which we cover for different substrate, both the mineral, which is the wall, and then the wood. So 3 key pillars for you to understand the PEF is that we have a PEF tool, just because you need a tool to visualize data, to see what's happening, to see how this is done. So we have our tool. This is to evaluate the PEF and the PEF CR, which I will explain. And then you have the EF datasets, which is called the environmental footprint datasets. This is nothing but a common database with all the key raw materials used by the coatings industry. And this is also modeled according to the Commission's requirements for PEF. And now, for now, we have around 110 datasets, and that constitutes the tool. And then the PEF CR, which is basically like a Bible that gives you the direction how you can calculate the PEF. It has all the set of rules from the raw material till the end of life, how you can do the quality testing for your category of product, and so on. So as I said, what differentiates the PEF from a traditional LCA is that the traditional LCA, you need a consultant, you need a database, you need a software, you need to generate the study report, verify with the external verifier, and so on. But with the PEF, it's very easy to use. It's not so you don't need to have intensive knowledge in the life cycle assessment. And then also the tool and the database is available for free from the Commission. And also CEPE, we developed a verification pilot to see how a company can do a PEF study from the start till end and get it verified. So finally, to give you how you can benefit from the PEF. So it allows the easy comparison of your paint products for your consumers. And we also have performance classes, which we are currently working on, where you can have A, B, or C, similar to what you see in electronics equipment, like a fridge or a washing machine. So we are also trying to develop that for marketing and commercial purposes. And also it educates the impact and also set the rules that are respected by everybody, so that you don't have different methods to calculate the footprint, but one unified method for the industry. And then CEPE will also oppose any market restriction if somebody scores in product E-class, but that's yet to be developed. So this is just a glimpse of how the tool looks. I'm not going to present you the complete tool and discuss it here. It's just for you to have a capture of how it looks. So this is the Excel tool that we developed. And in the end, this is an illustrative example. You see something like this as a label that's affixed on your product can. And in the end, to show you again, please don't get intimidated by this table. It's just to show you how the interlinks of different policies and how you can see the PEF is mentioned, because the PEF is very key under the green claims, which is going to also come later this year. If you want to substantiate your environmental footprint, you need to go through methods like PEF, which the Commission recommends. Then you can also see the PEF also in eco-design and for sustainable regulation, and also the EU eco-label. They are interested to bring the PEF into their schemes. So it's very important for you to understand how PEF is related to other tools. That's it from my side. Thank you for listening, and yeah.